Hello, guys. How are you doing? Welcome to the VAR Podcast Season 4, Episode 18. And hey, happy new month. Hello, September. To the September babies all through Manze. If you're having a birthday this September, happy birthday to you in advance. And let me say, 2023 is pretty running faster. And I can't believe, if we just ushered January a few months ago, and here we are. And damn, but we really appreciate where we are, and we really appreciate where we've come from, especially on the Vibe podcast journey. And this is our 118th episode, and this is just to say a great thank you to every listener out there who's listening to us in every possible medium that they get to listen to this podcast from. Because right now we are not only on Spotify, we are now on YouTube. So if you haven't subscribed on YouTube, kindly let's grow that community over there, like we've done on Spotify and other podcast streaming platform. Now that we've added how do you call it, YouTube, I think, guys, it's just fair enough. It's just fair enough, because now whatever was playing on YouTube, whatever was playing on Spotify is now playing on YouTube. So guys can be able to stream it, let's say from season 4, episode 10 up to where we are. You can be able to get those episodes as much as possible. So make sure you get to listen to something and learn kidogo there. And of course we vibe. And just to put it out there, this is our season 4. And just looking at it and where we've come from, hey, guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Wouldn't be here if it were not for you. So, if you're a new listener on the VAR podcast, Karibu Sana. This is your host, Chief Sam. And today we're doing it, it was a solo project. I was about to say a solo verse, like I'm about to do a poem. Anyway, guys, welcome to today's episode. And yes, like you've seen it on the timeline, today we want to talk about betrayal, trust issues. Betrayal, loyalty don't go far, and they share a lot in common, because I think people have trust issues because they don't like going back to where they've come from, especially if they were betrayed. So this kind of makes them, how do you put it, feel very rigid with whatever they have, because they try as much as possible to protect it, because it's safer that way compared to just being free outside there, because they're afraid of being betrayed. And I think betrayal just has different meaning, because I think it consists of violation of trust. It can be the famous infidelity, and on the friendship aspect, whereby you feel like maybe a friend that you guys maybe have grown up with up to where we are, and maybe which poses a question: how many of you have been with friends that you guys grew up together with? And question number 2: which is easier, maintaining friends that you guys were young with, or finding ones that you guys, when you're growing up, it was a little bit easier and you kind of like connected? Which is easier, having friends that you grew up together with, or the new that you picked up along the way as you're living? I hope you guys get to answer to me that, because I want to know now. Betrayal, I think, has been normalized. And I think where betrayal is, especially in relationship, we put a lot of cheating, because it actually made me wonder, like, is betrayal also cheating? Is cheating also betrayal? Because, hey, but I think it depends, because one thing for sure, betrayal comes in different aspects. Like we've said, in friendship, a friend can just drop you out of nowhere, and you're like, aye. Can you say, I thought we were friends. I thought we agreed to do this thing called life together as friends. And like I usually tell the few people that I interact with in a personal level, like, friendship is very vital. And it's something that when I see people doing so much for their friends and making sure that their friends feel special, I usually feel like it's something very, very, very sweet. And people should keep it up because friendship and friendships, let me just say friendship in general, are some of the best thing that can happen to any human being outside there, because this journey without anyone is really sad. And then you add on top that these people are loyal to you no matter what, and you have that part of, you know what, these people can never betray me no matter what until the world ends. Okay, that sounds so far-fetched, but there are friends who can go far and beyond, and I think even no relationship can ever get in between them. So question is, do you feel your friend can betray you, or you've built a solid ground? And I think in the aspect of betrayal, a lot of friendship also fail and go down because many of them have been betrayed one way or the other. And this can be because of maybe someone has disclosed something to you in confidentiality, but now you've gone and disclosed it somewhere else and talked ill about them. And I think this is what happens nowadays in the age of social media, whereby you find people you just find yourself, the things that you used to talk to your friend are just outside there, and you're like, I thought we were these people. I thought we were trying as much as possible to make sure that our friendship grows from one point to the other. But now, I think from that is when the person who has been affected asks themselves, does this mean that I've been opening up to the wrong person? Does this mean that I'm even not the right person to myself, in terms of, I thought I was giving the real me to you, but you are giving me the fake you to me? So it's kind of something that hasn't made sense for quite some time. And I think if it's not disclosure of confidential information, it comes with also, how do you call it, dishonesty and disloyalty, because once you're betrayed by anyone, it's automatic. They were disloyal to you because they never remained with that one rule of, you know what, I got your back no matter what. And this is because they were dishonest with what they were saying. And of course, the famous one form of betrayal that just puts it all together is infidelity, which means, and I think if I put friendship betrayal and relationship betrayal, I'll put the friendship first and then the aspect of relationship, because I feel where relationships fail, friendships kind of remain. And this poses a question: if the person you love betrayed you in a relationship, can you guys be still friends? Can you guys still grow and be like, you know what, yeah, you betrayed me for my love, but we can try as much as possible to make this friendship, and which we hope it's not beneficial, that we can work as much as possible to make sure this relationship, this friendship that we have, works at some point or the other. And I feel it kind of sucks when you know that you've given so much in someone, be it in a relationship or a friendship, then you end up betrayed. And the fun fact about betrayal is it never comes from an enemy. And I think there's someone who said, it's not the stab at the back or the stab at the stomach that kills you. It's the face of the person that does it. Like, it gets to and be like, you know what? I can't believe you did this to me. But in this current day and age, you gotta be very careful. And I think that's why people walk with a lot of trauma outside here. And I've actually learned something, that there is something called betrayal trauma. This is after you've been betrayed so much in your life that you end up being very careful to make sure that nobody takes advantage of you. And it can be, it can start from childhood, and I think it's just something else. If you're betrayed in the form of infidelity, you kind of hold back in so much, because you fear that if you get into something real quick, and if someone gives you the sweet vibes too quick, it's giving red flag. So I think the aspect of this thing existing is true, because once you now start being super careful with people, that's a trauma that needs to be watched and be really, really, really looked into, because quite, how can I put this? How long can you maintain this part of being afraid not to put yourself outside there? So as much as someone betrayed you, you have to try as much as possible to walk over it, because it's the only way possible, and it's the only way for you to move from one step to the other. And again, it's just that you can never, what's the word? Let people be the way you want them to be. They are their own person. And you can never police them not to betray you. You can never police them to be dishonest, to be honest each and every time. You can never police them to be loyal to you. It's up to them to decide whether they want to be A, B, and C. And I think this is why people need to find and try as much as possible to look for people that have the same standards they believe in. Because I believe on matters of trying to be loyal, trying to focus on honesty, it's not a hard task. It all jots down to one thing. What do you stand for? Which brings me to the aspect of, yes, as much as betrayal happens outside here, does it mean you also go outside there and be a betrayer, or look for someone to make how do you put it, to make them feel like they also need to be betrayed because you are betrayed? Like, you're trying as much as possible to look for revenge. And I think this revenge is what will even bring more trauma to you and cause more harm than good. So I think being betrayed teaches you a lot of things. And I think you have just to start to realize, like, yes, you've been betrayed. There's nothing much you can change about that in that person. But there's one thing you can always change. You. Like, yes, our history has been faced out, maxed out, like no one's business. And I think you just have to look at the key things that really matter. How much does your history together matter with this person? Like, did you guys change after that betrayal, or you felt like, I think moving away from you kind of helped me? And of course, we can never negate the fact that there are betrayals that can be forgiven. And this is where now it comes to you as a person. And this is where now the healing process also starts. Will you decide to forgive them? And if you forgive them, will you decide to keep them close? Because there are people who decide, like, yes, I've forgiven you, but I don't want anything to do with you. And then there are those who feel like, you know what, let me give you a second chance. And people redeem themselves by the way with second chances. So we can never negate the fact that second chances also always work in matters of betrayal. And I think what makes second chance work and people be forgiven after they've betrayed someone is the aspect of them being fully apologetic on what they've done to you. And I think that's why life is all about chances, and I think that's what marriage is all about, being very apologetic and trying as much as possible to make sure that you are sorry for what you've done so that you can make the relationship work better. So what exactly does this teach us as people maybe who are experiencing betrayal, or people who have experienced it, or people who have given out betrayal. How do you put it? The betrayal energy outside there. Because I believe one way or the other, you've betrayed someone knowingly or unknowingly. And it's quite sad because it has made me think, have I ever betrayed someone? But I guess they have a problem. They can always raise their hands up. Kuja tuongee. I'm very apologetic, by the way. We make the world a better place. I think if you've gone through betrayal and you want to heal, I think you just have to start as early as possible and accept it and acknowledge, yes, this is the situation. The betrayal happened. There's nothing much I can do about it. Some look for closure. Some decide to move on with their life. I think you just have to make sure you work with whatever is easier for you. And the aspect of also sitting down with your feelings is something that should not be ignored. Because after being betrayed, a lot of things goes on in your head. Like, why did they do this to me? And I think it's quite reasonable for you to feel any form of resentment towards it. Be it anger, be it shame, be it disappointment, because betrayal isn't an amazing thing. So if someone has broken something so intimate or something so vital to you that kind of like meant a lot to you, it's okay to allow yourself to experience each and every resentment that comes, each and every pain that comes with it, because in reality, like they say it, pain only goes away when you let all of it out. And I think after that, you just have to sit down and reflect. Was this worth it? And was moving away from you after all this, is moving away from you after all this you've done for me a better thing for me? And how can I grow just to make sure that I can never meet someone like you? And this is where being you now comes in. And this is where I pray that people that have been betrayed don't go outside theirs and betray others, but just stick to who they are. If you're a loyalist, you're just a loyalist. If you're an honest person, you'll always be a honest person, because that is what you stand on. And I think the only thing you need to do is just reflect on your friendship and reflect on the friendship that you're about to give outside there. And even before you do that, take a break, take a step back and be like, you know what? If I want a friendship, I need to focus from point A to point B to make sure that you can never fully avoid it, but at least with knowing what you're supposed to do, it kind of like helps you as a person to be like, you know what? I was betrayed, but I know better on what I'm supposed to do so that I can avoid feeling the way I felt when I was betrayed. And I think this also brings out the part of you tend to practice that self-compassion. Like here, I think nobody has ever died of betrayal as much as I think of it. So practicing that much self-compassion will help you recognize yourself and the maturity and the growth that it has brought with it. Like I think after you've been betrayed and have been well aware of your surrounding, I think it brings a better version of you, and it kind of makes you glow into being the better version of the people that you'll interact with in future. So I think my word will be like this, and I think I'll just put it out to everybody. as a human being, deciding to maintain a relationship after being betrayed is a thing that you will have to decide whether to end it or to forgive the person. And this decision, I think, it only depends with how hurt you are and how sorry the person is. And I believe that, and I'm not encouraging betrayal, but I believe one thing. If someone is truly sorry and willing to change, I think they're supposed to be given a chance. But one thing is, betrayal isn't worth it at all. And I think if you've ever been betrayed, I think that thing never leaves you. It kind of gets stuck to you and it like puts you down each and every time. So to those who have ever been betrayed, I hope you find that healing. And I hope by listening to this podcast, it has helped you to move from point A to point B. And may you find loyal and honest people that care and love you. I think that will be it for the VAR podcast, guys. Hey, let's be nice people. Till next time, this has been your host, Chief Sam. Bye-bye.